Welcome to Caleb's Basketball Pod. For this episode, we are going to preview our 4 playoff series that start on Saturday. Let's kick it off with Milwaukee, Indiana. I think this is a very interesting series. You have the Pacers, who have been on somewhat of a hot streak, especially after the All-Star break, and we saw the same thing last season. And the hot streak that they were on last season after the All-Star break, mind you, a couple injuries and a couple lucky breaks, but it got them all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they got swept by the Boston Celtics. So what I'm saying is, don't count out this Pacers team. Don't underestimate them. Last season, a lot of people kept saying with the injuries that were suffered by the opponents of the Pacers, they did not see Giannis in the first round. And a lot of people said, well, that's why they beat Milwaukee. Well, there's a chance for Indiana to prove those doubters wrong. You are taking on Giannis, and we got news, as I mentioned yesterday, that Dame Lillard is on his way back. He will miss game 1, but maybe when the series shifts to Milwaukee, maybe we see Dame Lillard suiting back up for Milwaukee Bucks. Who knows? But either way, we have a fully healthy Giannis. We have improvements in a changed team. We have Bobby Portis coming back from Milwaukee, trying to get his legs under him after a 25-game suspension. Kevin Porter Jr. has been making an impact, and we have Kyle Kuzma. So a little younger team, fresher legs. And then, like I said, the Pacers, you have Pascal Siakam's been playing really good. Tyrese Halliburton's been playing very well after a shaky start to the season. Miles Turner, he's getting in the groove of things. You have Benedict Mathurin, and I believe he is a really good underweighted scorer. We have Neesmith, Nimhard, a lot of good players over on the Indiana team, and they're playing together. They're playing as a unit. For what I expect for Milwaukee to win this series, because even if Damian Lillard comes back, he's still going to be trying to get back in rhythm, try to get his legs under him, try to get back into the groove of things. He's missed like a month or two with this and not able to work out much, so he's trying to ramp that up now. So he's still going to be shaky when he gets back. For Milwaukee to win this series, Giannis has to be the best player on the floor at all times. He has control of the game. He can't let Indiana wear him down by playing really fast basketball. He has to be in control of the game, control himself, don't play out of control, because as good as Giannis is, we see that he leads the league in travels and charge calls, and just a lot of reckless and careless basketball. He has to stay in control, be the dominant player he is, but be dominant in a way that it's contained. Not dominant in a way that he's traveling or he's stepping here or he's charging into people and getting called for charges. He has to be dominant, but in a controlled way. So I think if Giannis is the best player on the floor throughout the series, Milwaukee wins. And I mean, Giannis has control of the game, and he has to be that dominant player, and he can't let Indiana play too fast. If that happens, Milwaukee wins. If Indiana is able to push for pace, get out, use every single one of those guys I named, and get points on the board, and then defend on the other way, pick up full court, wear Milwaukee down, then I think their legs are going to come into play, and the fresher legs in Indiana is going to win this. My prediction for this series is Milwaukee in 7. That's just because I believe Giannis will be the best player on the floor, and I think it's going to go 7. And I always pick the team who has the best player of the whole series in a game 7. So that would be Milwaukee with Giannis. Next up, another series we know that's going down is the Nuggets-Clippers. And in my opinion, I think this is going to be our best first-round series. We have the Los Angeles Clippers, who have won like 7 of their last 10 heading into the playoffs, playing dominant basketball. We're seeing James Harden looking like the young James Harden. We're seeing Kawhi Leonard just look like very close to that 2019 Kawhi Leonard who his first and only season with the Toronto Raptors took them to an NBA championship. We're seeing very close to that level of dominance and Kawhi Leonard right now. We're seeing step up in Zubac's game. We know he's up for Defensive Player of the Year. You have a shot of a votes are set. you have a shot to solidify that by however you defend Jokic, and you know Tyronn Lue's going to have some plans on how they defend Jokic. Looking at the Denver side of things, with Mike Malone's Denver, that two-man game, when healthy and when walking, of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic was nearly unbeatable. We've seen them handle about everybody with that dominant two-man game. Now, I don't know if the same system will be in place for the new coach in Denver, but even if he is, it makes you wonder how well he's going to be able to get his guys execute off of it with not having, I would say, the control, the authority as Mike Malone had, because he's relatively new into this system and trying to get players to respect him and listen. At that point, it could come down to a lot of the coaching. And if it comes down coaching, Tyronn Lue's like miles ahead of a guy that just now got his job like 4 or 5 games ago. So at that point, you have favor the Clippers on that. Denver has the home court advantage. You favor the Nuggets on that. Denver possibly has the best player on the planet. You favor the Nuggets on that. But the Clippers have Kawhi Leonard, who, when healthy, can be up there and possibly be the best player in any stretch of time. So then you favor the Clippers on that. I think the series is going to come down to, do you get more out of, we know what we're going to get from Harden, from Kawhi, from Murray and Jokic. That should be understood at this point in the playoffs. Like, you're in the playoffs, you're going to bring the best out of those guys. I think it's going to come down to, what do we get? Do we get production from Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Christian Brown, Russell Westbrook? Do we get production from Norman Powell, Ivan Zubac, Bogdanovich for the Clippers, Chris Dunn, that defense intensity he's been playing with in the backcourt and really solidifying and making a role for himself out in LA. I think it's going to come down to the role players, because it's almost to the point where Kawhi and Jokic can X each other out. It's almost to that point with just how both of them are playing basketball right now. And at that point, I think it's going to come down to the role players. At the end of the day, I am going Clippers in 7. Next up, we have Detroit and New York. So this is an interesting matchup, because in the regular season, we saw Detroit best New York 3-1. This is completely different. I believe, well, I just want to start by saying congratulations to the Pistons. JV Bickerstaff's done an amazing job. I've said this all year long, and I want to keep saying that, because it really should be mentioned and talked about more of what job this man's done on turning the culture around in Detroit. So I just want to say that real quick. But regular season's a lot different than the postseason. We've seen JB Bickerstaff coach against Tom Thibodeau's New York Knicks with the Cavs a few seasons ago, and I believe that Cavs roster was better than this Detroit roster, and they got smacked 4-1. At that point, not really sure how Bickerstaff's coaching kind of takes to the playoffs. So far in the series we've seen him in, he does have the best record at adjusting and making those changes on the fly. That, and with being a young and experienced team, New York being a squad built for the playoffs, they have a coach that's been to the playoffs. He's been to big, very competitive conference final series, NBA final series as an assistant. I'm picking the Knicks in 5. But I do think Cade Cunningham's going to really make a name for himself in this playoffs. But I just think New York has way too much, and I think they're going to outcoach the Pistons in this series. But I think games will be close. I think a lot of the games will be close, and I just think New York's going to pull it out in the end. Now, our last series for Saturday. This is a very interesting one, too. This is Timberwolves, Los Angeles Lakers. So, all in all, you have 6-3. Timberwolves 6, Lakers 3. But really, you have a one game difference between them in the loss column. So it's really not. It's not a host seeding thing. The Lakers should be by far the favorites. But I will say this and just point out these points. Anthony Edwards needs to figure out how to play against a double team. We see he struggles. We see he makes bad decisions. Sometimes throws you away. Sometimes does not get to the white guy who should have the ball. That's not him in that moment if he gets double teamed. And I think that needs to be fixed and improved, because J.J. Redick is a very smart and analytical coach. So he's going to realize that if you double team Anthony Edwards, he's making bad decisions, especially late in the game. And he may not see the double teams all game. He may see it if Timberwolves get a little bit of a lead, or if a game's really close at the end, and that's when he sees it. He's not going to see the double teams all game, because at that point it gives that star caliber player a chance to figure them out. If you do them in these critical situations, it's less of a chance to figure you out. It's more different, it's more thrown on, it's more challenging, and then you have to figure you out on the fly instead of doing it like, say, all 48 minutes, and now by the time you do it late in the game, it's old, and he's already figured out how you beat it. So anytime he gets double teamed or trapped off of these screens or anything like that, it's going to be late game situations or critical moments in the game. And that's going to be very tough for Edwards, so he needs to figure out how to beat this double team. He needs, even if maybe you have to give him a safe man, when you're setting these screens, if you only set the screens with a guy you trust with the ball, like say Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, Michael Conley, someone like that. If you only set the screens there, and now you can hurry up and get the ball out to that guy, and then he can maybe get a 3-on-2 going downhill, because you had 2 out on Edwards, and now you have 1, 2, 3 going in, and you only have 2 inside. If you can get maybe a matchup like that, or a 4-on-3, whatever he is, depending on where that other guy is, which I'm assuming will probably be top of the wing. But if you can get that matchup, then maybe it's not such a bad idea. But I think that's what the Wolves need prep for. They need prep for seeing these double teams, seeing these different looks. And that's on your offensive end. Now on your defensive end, you need to figure out how you can stop not only Luka Doncic, which we saw the Wolves struggle doing in the conference finals last season against Dallas, but now it's not Kyrie Irving, it's a bigger, more athletic wing in LeBron James that you also have to try to stop. And if you focus so much on stopping them, you can't forget about Austin Reeves, who has excelled at being the fourth guy on the Los Angeles Lakers. So a lot of weapons to stop. 3-point shooting's gone up for the Lakers recently because of the attention LeBron and Luka draws. So you're getting a lot of good looks. And you have to figure that out defensively. You have to watch out for the switches, because we saw Luka cook Rudy Gobert all of that conference finals series last year. So you don't want to make it a habit to switch. If you have to be prepared for that too. And don't be surprised if the Wolves don't play into what the Lakers do, and if the Wolves don't take a small ball approach. Because if Rudy Gobert keeps having to switch out on Luka or LeBron and he keeps getting beat, that's not a good look, and you have to change things up. So don't be surprised if they don't put Naz Reid or someone in and go a little smaller, someone that can move their feet better and guard out on the perimeter a tiny bit better. But all in all, I think this is going to be a very good competitive series. I've got the Lakers in 6, and it goes back to what I've mentioned before, and I've said it over and over and over again. It's hard enough to beat LeBron in a series. It's hard enough to beat Luka Doncic in a series. Now you have to beat them both together in a playoff series. The IQ just between those two men, not counting the rest of the team, not counting J.J. Redick as the coach, who has done an amazing job. And going back to talking about Bickerstaff as a great coaching hire this offseason, I just want to say J.J. Redick, he's been an amazing coaching hire, because I heard people talk all this crap about, oh, well, you hired a podcaster. Yeah, but let's not forget, this guy was a former NBA player. This guy, as he said on his podcast over and over again, and if you listen to his podcast, he was a basketball sicko. And from that point on, I knew when the Lakers hired him, it wasn't going to be the Darvin Ham Lakers. It was going to be a more like analytical IQ basketball team. They were going to have that stuff. They were going to maybe start off slow, but figure it out. And J.J. Redick's someone that's not going to keep losing. He's going to figure it out, and we've seen him do that. We've seen his different looks on defense depending on the teams. We've seen him allowing, because you can't take everything away, so we've seen him allowing different guys to take different shots, knowing that that's how you can beat them, by letting this guy beat you instead of letting the best guy beat you. And it's little things like that that nobody talks about with J.J. Redick, and his coaching style for the Lakers has been amazing, and I just want to commend him on his job too, just like I did J.B. Bickerstaff. But yeah, I have Lakers in 6 on this one, And next episode will be on our Sunday matchups of our series that start on Sunday. So stay tuned and keep watching. I'm going to try to give you the best statistical, analytical, really basketball sicko breakdown. We'll take a page out of JJ Redick's book, say basketball sicko breakdown of this NBA playoffs, because I feel that we are really lacking that in-depth, deep breakdown. So I'm going to work really hard to give that to you guys. So keep watching, stay tuned, and we're going to keep doing this. And playoffs are getting started, and this is the funnest part of the NBA season.